At this point, I've worked with nearly 50 businesses, and I can identify what is wrong with your marketing within 5 minutes. And honestly, it's usually between 1 and 3 things. My name is Jessica, and I've been doing marketing consulting for nearly a decade, and I always see the same patterns and the same trends, and it's pretty much predictable at this point. So in this video, I'm going to share the top 3 marketing problems that almost every business experiences, and most importantly and most relevant to you, how can you identify if your company is making one of these mistakes? So problem number 1, and this is the biggest one that I see, is you treat marketing like a campaign and not an actual infrastructure. So let me explain a little bit more what I mean by this. So a lot of companies will approach marketing from this campaign standpoint. So they have a product launch or they have a seasonal push. They will coordinate efforts, which is good. I'll give you credit for that. But they do a big campaign, great, and then they stop. And then when the next product is ready to be released, they do this big campaign and then they stop. So you best believe your marketing results are going to reflect that big spike in engagement and marketing and then that dip. I mean, this was very true for one of these D2C companies I worked with a few years ago. They had probably 4 to 5 product launches throughout the year, which was exciting too to their customer base because there was always something going on. And I will give them credit because they had a very strong and succinct coordinated effort. So paid ads was dialed in, email marketing, organic social, like everybody knew what to do. It was a nice rinse and repeat process. But again, it caused this spike, a lot of engagement, a lot of sales, and then a dip afterwards. And you can imagine the problem with this. You're building something that doesn't last. You're renting the results instead of actually building an infrastructure, building a system. And when you think about long term, I mean, I talk to a lot of my clients, they're CEOs, they're business owners, and a lot of them want to sell. They eventually want to sell their business. And what is going to be the most attractive to a buyer? Do you have a marketing system in place, or do you just have SOPs around campaigns? If you have systems and automation and actual infrastructure, that gives you so much more leverage to negotiate with a buyer, and maybe you don't even want to sell your business. That's okay. You could at least use this infrastructure, build out these marketing systems to grow faster. So you're not wasting manual time and manual labor and putting together these SOPs for this campaign when you actually could be scaling your business and have it grow so much faster than you ever thought possible. So I think the easiest way to demonstrate this example and drive this point home is to think about running your business from an accounting perspective. You're not going to run your business without some basic accounting books in place. Hopefully, you probably have QuickBooks, you probably have some sort of, basic accounting software so you can understand how much profit are we driving, what do our expenses look like, how much do we owe in taxes. That's kind of like the basics of building a business. This is also a trend I see with a lot of my marketing clients where sales might be down. So everybody goes to the drawing board, they do a virtual meeting, and they pitch ideas and they try to figure out how can we get a lift in sales? What can we do to get an increase in sales? And that's usually where these campaign ideas stem from. It's very reactive instead of proactive. And marketing is one of those things you can absolutely automate it, systematize it, make it more streamlined so that you're doing it consistently and you're not treating it like this cycle of growth and loss and growth and loss. You're going to have a lot more success in scaling your marketing efforts, having more success with your marketing if you build out the systems and you build out the infrastructure. So to wrap up this first point, if you feel like you're starting from scratch, every so often when it comes to leads, campaigns, and sales, it might indicate that you don't have a marketing structure in place. So problem number 2 is you hire people instead of building actual systems. So let's say you've identified the fact that you need a marketing person, and let's say you go on Upwork or you go on Fiverr and you find a marketing contractor. Okay, great. Let's say her name is Susie. She comes on board. She's fantastic. She's a rock star. She's running your marketing. Okay, cool. But Susie is now your marketing system. So what happens if Susie leaves? When Susie leaves, you aren't going to have your marketing system and you have to start from scratch. So by hiring people, you're becoming dependent on people and not actually building an infrastructure or building a system that helps you scale. I've seen this with a lot of mid-market companies where maybe they're hiring a marketing agency, $5,000, $10,000 a month for a series of marketing services, but you're paying this agency month after month after month to optimize and to tweak and to get you results, but you're not actually building a system. You're contracting them, you're hiring them, which again, depending on your business, is fine. But when we think about the longevity, when that marketing agency leaves or you decide it's not a good fit anymore, you're not left with much. You don't even have a blueprint really to go off of, versus if you focus on building an actual marketing system, you could then hire a marketing agency to slot into the system, or you could hire a marketing manager, come in and tweak the system, optimize the system, and then when they leave eventually, you have the system in place. So that's one of the first things I like to ask when I start working with a company is understanding their systems. Do you have no systems? Are we starting from scratch? Or do you have some simple systems in place? And I know the word system can sound kind of broad, it can sound kind of overly vague, but a system could quite literally be as simple as, hey, we have an automated welcome email that gets sent out the second that someone opt-ins to our newsletter on our website. Technically speaking, that is a system. It's a simple system, but it's a starting place. That's an actual system. So from there, I like to document everything and help business owners build out those systems so that the CEO or the business owner owns that official system, and then they can bring in people to work the system, to optimize the system. But at the end of the day, the business owner has that information and they understand where they're starting from. So if you've hired maybe a couple marketing people, perhaps social media people, and you feel like you're starting from scratch every single time, this could be an indicator that you need to focus on building out systems first and then hire people second. So problem number 3, you're measuring the wrong things. So I think back to a sales call I had a few years ago, and this prospect wanted to go viral because I asked, what type of results are you looking for? And he said, I want my business to go viral. And I asked him, well, great, but what does going viral actually get your business? And he said, well, if we go viral, we'll get more visibility, and then we'll get more website traffic, and then we'll get more sales. And so I said, oh, okay, so if you go viral, you think you're going to get more revenue? And he said, yeah, like that's the game plan. So I think a lot of business owners like this idea of going viral. It sounds really sexy. You hear about these amazing stories where something blows up on TikTok and then their business doubles in revenue. And there's a lot of hype and press about this concept of going viral, but it's not a strategy. It's not a strategy. And then when we actually think about going viral, you're looking at more vanity metrics. So I think back to one of my past clients, they actually did go viral, but it did not directly translate into revenue. Sure, they got an uptick in followers, they got an uptick in website traffic, but they did not double their business. And there's this trap that a lot of business owners fall into where they think these vanity metrics are actually important. These vanity metrics actually move the needle when they don't. They really don't. And you can manipulate these metrics a lot. If you go onto Meta Business Suite, you take a look at Instagram and TikTok, you look at the analytics and you can see amazing green across the board. We have all the beautiful increase percentages and it looks good. It looks really, really good. But then you look at revenue and nothing changed. So sure, some of these vanity metrics can be indicators. Some small indicators that your content is resonating with people, you're reaching new eyeballs, maybe you are getting a little bit of that visibility, but you always have to go back to the business numbers. Did this actually increase the business? Did we get more revenue from this? At the end of the day, revenue matters, hands down. That's really the only metric that matters, because if you're laser focused on revenue, it's going to indicate the strategy that you use moving forward and the different marketing levers you're going to pull. It's going to be a completely different path than if you are focusing on vanity metrics and getting more reach and more impressions. You have to be focused on revenue, and sure, those vanity metrics are nice to have, but they don't really matter, sadly. So if your marketing reports are focused on those vanity metrics, impressions, reach, engagement rates, and you're not actually seeing an increase in revenue, well, you are struggling with problem number 3. So those are the big 3 problems. And if you're like, wait, oh my gosh, we're struggling with one of those problems, or worse yet, we're struggling with all 3 of those problems, you are not alone. You're not alone at all. And there's varying degrees too. And I know these problems seem really big and audacious, but the tweaks in the solutions are so much more straightforward than you actually think. And this is literally what I do for clients, help them build out their marketing infrastructure, getting all the pieces in place so that their marketing system can run on its own. As a business owner, you own everything, and I'm just here to implement this marketing system for you. And then this is literally what I do for clients, is I help them map out their marketing system. And again, like I mentioned before, this can be as simple or as complex as you need it to be, but go in there, help clients build out a scalable, automated marketing system. We document everything, we set up the right metrics, set up the dashboards, and you own everything at the end of the day. And I'm just here to help you build out everything and to give your marketing a lot more structure and a lot more direction. And then I only work with a few clients at a time because, again, this is a full build. This is not just a Band-Aid solution. So if this sounds interesting to you, you want to learn a little bit more, feel free to leave a comment below. And otherwise, hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.